This is how a short, nerdy engineer who never dated a model in his life got 20 plus dates in 30 days using a system I personally built for him from scratch. His name is Yaro, and no, he's not jacked or super famous, but what he does have is access to a plug-and-play strategy that I've used with thousands of clients to get them on countless dates with model quality women. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through every single part of this process, from dating apps that get you matches to Instagram strategies that make women message you first and cold approaches that actually turn into dates. And if you steal and implement this system for yourself, you can pack your calendar full of dates like Yaro. And if you want to work with me personally to get results like Yaro, click the first link in the description and make sure to watch this video till the end. Now, starting off with the first piece of the system is the dating app profile that 5x my matches overnight.
It's actually very, very simple. Photos are the biggest thing we work with private clients because the photos are the biggest pain point for most guys, period. Photos can literally change everything, even myself. This photo on the left here is a photo I used on dating apps for years and years and years. It was my first photo on any dating profile. This would be the first photo women would see. This photo is responsible for thousands of matches. However, changing one simple photo, changing this photo to this photo, 5x'd my matches overnight. Why was that? Why was that possible? Before I changed this photo, I had changed my bio a couple times and maybe it'd result in a 20-30% increase in matches, which is pretty decent. But if you want 5x exponential results, it's going to come from your photos. And I'm going to walk you through why this photo works. The first photo is the face shot. This is the first photo on your profile. It's the first thing the girl sees. So this is the first impression you're going to be making with the girl. She wants to see clearly what you look like. She wants to see your face. So we want to have a face shot because this is going to give the girl a screenshot in her head of what we look like. We also want an activity photo because the purpose of the profile is to make a killer first impression. And with the activity photo, it allows emotionally and subconsciously for her to start building a story in her head of what you look like. And when you combine this face shot and the activity photo, now she has an understanding. Okay, this is what he looks like if he's sitting across from me on a date. This is what he looks like in action, living his life. And when you combine this with a bio that is calibrated and makes sense to this, now the woman is building a story in her head of who you are and what you might be like. It's going to make her swipe, and when you message her, she's going to be more invested in going on a date with you. If you just do these two things, you'll literally 2x your match rate immediately. So make sure you get these ASAP. When it comes to the bio, this is highly dependent on the app. However, for apps like Tinder or Bumble where you can make your own bio and there's not as many prompts, here's a quick rundown of what's been working consistently and how we get my clients hundreds of matches. First, we want to hook. We want to just be funny and build intrigue. Why? Because this is our first impression. We want to catch her attention. A woman is going to give you 0.2 seconds as she's swiping through the stack. So the first line that she sees on your profile, we need it to grab her attention to buy ourselves an extra 2 or 3 seconds. So we do something that's funny and builds intrigue. In this example, you'll see a guy puts his height, 6'1". This is a bio from my client that generated him hundreds of matches. His bio starts with 6'1", which is great. If you're over 6 foot, if you're tall, that's a hook. Use it to your advantage. Just looking for my future ex-wife. Something that's funny. It already sets the romantic frame so that he can start building on this when he messages her, and we'll show you exactly how to use lines like this so that you can get a first date from your immediate first message. Then we move on to the about you section. If a woman's going to be attracted to you, she needs two things. She needs to see you as a valuable guy, and we're displaying some value with this hook. We're being funny, we're being charismatic, etc. She needs to see you as a valuable guy, and she needs trust and comfort, because even if she thinks you're the coolest, highest value guy in the world, if she doesn't feel safe enough escalating with you, she's not going to agree to a date, she's not going to agree to any physical escalation, and it's just not going to work long term. So this is where we build the familiarity and comfort. We just describe ourselves in a way that seems fun, inviting, but also communicate to the woman who we are, which is again why these photos are so important, because we want to show the different sides of ourselves. So real estate investor by day, amateur chef by night. So we're just explaining some of my clients' hobbies here, and we're doing it in a fun and playful way that seems interesting, right? So amateur chef by night. Oh, this is something that you can tease on for a date later, so you can invite a girl straight over to your house for an at-home dinner date, right? So we're already setting little pieces in our bio and in our profile that is going to set us up correctly for a date. This entire bio is already set up in a romantic frame. My future ex-wife, amateur chef by night, father of a very good girl, which just means you own a dog. If you're looking for adventure and meaningful connections, let's chat. This is a call to action. So we want to give the girl a reason to swipe and message you. By the time she gets to the bottom of your bio, we want to remind her, like, hey, swipe right. Let's make something happen. Let's start the conversation here. Now, when it comes to apps like Hinge and Bumble, where you can actually have prompts, the disqualifier is the most important bio prompt, and this prompt alone is going to get you tons and tons of matches. So just steal it. The purpose of this prompt is to filter out time wasters and attract girls who are serious about meeting. And this is super, super important on apps. There's lots of time wasters on there, so we want to get them. Now that we showed you how to get matches using the bio and the photo structure, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn these matches into a first date, and I'm going to walk you through an exact text breakdown because again, there's no guessing. I'm going to just show you concrete examples of how this works. So the strategy when you're texting is you just want to get in, get out. You want to have minimal small talk, open with a line that's going to direct the convo in the direction of a date because you're a high value guy. You don't want to waste tons of times in a fucking texting tennis match or ping pong match back and forth for weeks just to end up getting ghosted and without a date. We want to keep the strategy simple. We want to keep our text simple. Don't be flashy, don't be over the top. It's just no need. Don't have a long conversation on the app because you're going to risk just losing her. And again, the only thing that matters is, are we getting dates? You can send a great opening line, but if the great opening line is getting lots of responses but no dates, it's a fucking terrible line, so stop using it. I'd rather send 10 openers, right, and only get one response that leads to a date rather than get 10 openers and get 10 responses, but none of them lead to dates. Remember, the only metric that matters is, are we going on dates? Responses is a vanity metric. Now, in terms of the 3 best openers, I'm just going to hand you 3 of them. This is enough to get you plenty of dates and show you that this is legit. So the first one is POV, our first date. You can only use this. The catch to this is you can only use this on apps like Bumble and Hinge when you can comment on the photo and leave a comment that way. Or if you're using Tinder and you have super likes, you can super like a photo and send that message to it. I'll show you examples of this in a second. The number 2 best opener is think I just met my future wife, and the follow-up message to that is won't know for sure till our first date. You down to find out. So easy. And again, this is big brain thinking. The entire profile is congruent. We start talking about just trying to meet my future ex-wife, and the opening line is congruent with that. So if she swiped on that in your profile, she's probably going to respond when you keep that same energy in there. So we're already preceding all of this. Again, big brain thinking. None of this is happenstance. This is all very, very carefully calculated because we've done this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times with dozens of our clients. So again, the opener would just be think I just met my future wife. Then depending on how she responds, the way you turn this into a date is with this following message. A third opener that's very, very good, this is a classic one, this has gotten guys so many responses, is I like your aesthetic or I like your style. And then the way you follow up with that is looking forward to seeing it in person on our first date. Do you like sushi or do you like whatever date activity? So these are very, very simple. Use these and you'll get lots of results. Here's an example of think I just met my future wife in action leading to a date. So I opened on Tinder with this girl I matched with, think I just met my future wife. She references something in my bio there, and you see she references something in my bio which gets her invested, just to show you the big brain level of thinking. None of this is happenstance, it's all calculated. I say that sounds just like wife material. I'll propose on our first date. So you notice I'm already going for the first date very quickly. How many girls you propose to? Like, hey, it's LA, right? You might be the one though. What are you up to tonight? She tells me what she's up to. We're talking a little bit about some personal stuff. She says, I'm just chilling at home right now. You, I say, finishing dinner, then going to get drinks at this place. You should come through. She says, what's the vibe there? And notice when she says, what's the vibe there? She's really, that's buying language, or that's language that's in the sense, that's agreement language, rather. I'm using sales. I'm using sales analogies because dating really is just sales and marketing. But when she's asking what's the vibe there, it means there's interest. That's interest language. So I know that the reason she's asking is because she's a girl. She probably wants to know, how should I dress? Is it going to be too fancy? Is it going to be too casual? I don't want to show up and look dumb. Is it going to be with lots of friends, etc.? So I ease her worries and I say, it's like a laid back and chill bar, which was totally true. What's your number? I'll text you. Boom, get the number, go on the date. Now, here are tons of client examples of POV, our first date, in action. You can actually use this line on Instagram as well as a cold DM when you find girls, which is another cheat code, so feel free to steal it. POV, our first date. This is where our first date is going to be out. Yeah, I'll rent out the bridge. That sounds like a cute date. So boom, you're starting the conversation in the direction of a date very quickly. POV, our first date, goes movie night. Boom, I'm down. So very, very easy. 2 messages, 5 words, you're already getting a date. And this is not even me executing it, it's a client executing it. And then POV, our first date, POV, yes. So this is very, very simple, very, very easy. And I'm actually going to show you an entire text breakdown of me using this on Hinge and moving the conversation forward so that I actually landed a date. So here you'll see I commented on a girl's photo on Hinge saying POV, our first date, and it was her birthday in the photo, so she's wearing like a birthday tiara. She says, I love that I'm wearing a tiara on our first date. I say, I can't think of something more fitting. Kings attract queens. Are you free for that date one night this week? She says, Wednesday. Yes, I'll be free after 8. I say, I know a few cool spots by you. what's your number? I'll text you and we'll set it up. She has a little bit of a mishap here, sending me the wrong number a couple times, sort of misclicking. She says the universe doesn't want to see each other. I say, don't worry, I'll put those numbers in a group chat to make sure I don't miss any. Say, hey, it's Benjamin from Hinge. This is you, right? She says, yes, it is. I start getting the logistics set up for the date. No, I haven't. Are you prepared to check out that place together? I've heard very good things. She says, yes, I would love to. Sounds like a plan. Tomorrow it is. So you notice I'm just setting up the logistics. Everything feels really natural, but we're still moving the conversation forward at all times. She says, is this dinner or drinks? So we go through the whole process. And again, you heard me talk about Instagram, which is why it's a key piece of the pipeline. You're going to see exactly why that's so important. So you'll see, even though she agreed to the date in the second message, even after this whole conversation that we've had and we agree on the time and the place and whether it's dinner or drinks, even the morning of, she asks me, do you have any socials I could follow you on? Why does she do this? Because dating for a woman is very, very scary. We have to be empathetic to them. We want to make sure that they're comfortable, because if they're not comfortable, one, ethically and morally, we don't want to put women in a position where they're going to feel bad. But just from a purely practical perspective, if she feels uncomfortable, she's not going to go on a date with you, bro. So you have to have big brain thinking and think of all of this. I have an Instagram profile that's really, really sick. So if she asks me for my Instagram, it's great. It's just going to build more first impression points for me. So again, every piece of the puzzle is calculated. None of this is random, because if you go in and have a random plan or just think things are going to fall together perfectly in your dating life without putting any intentionality or work behind it, you're a fucking amateur. Be a fucking professional. Have every single aspect of this set up, because on a dating app, most of your conversations are going to go nowhere. The conversion rate off a dating app is inherently low. We want to, our goal when we're dating is to be in front of a date on a girl and see if there's a real connection in person, in real life. All of the texting on dating apps, going through that whole process, is honestly kind of annoying. So we want to simplify it so that we can get to the part where we're actually going to be able to see, hey, is this woman someone who is long-term potential material? Is she wife material? Is she the type of person that I can trust to bring my future child into the world? Or is she just a girl I want to have fun with and date casually? We want to get to that part as fast as possible. That's the meaningful part for us as men. We want to get through the texting and the small talk and the back and forth, setting up logistics for a date as fast as possible. So I say, she says, do you have any social I can follow you on? I say yes, and I acknowledge her objection. I say, hey, here's my Instagram, so I'm not a serial killer, kind of make a joke out of it. I'll follow you back. I say, just followed you back. Hope you still have that tiara ready for our date tonight. She says, of course. We get the date planned, booked for 8:15, and you see we go on the date. She meets me there, and she even texts me the next day, because I followed a first date framework that I'm going to share with you in just a second. At the end of this video, she says, hi. She texts me first after the first date. Most guys are getting ghosted after their first date. They're not escalating on their first date, and they're never hearing from the girl again. She says, hi, thanks for taking me out last night. I had fun. So this is pure proof that this exact process that I walked you through, from setting up your dating apps to get the matches, and then how to convert them into a date, and then how to run the date, works perfectly. It works flawlessly, because I walked you through the entire thing, because we have every single piece mapped out with intentionality. Again, we're acting like fucking professionals in our dating lives, not like amateurs. Most of you watching this are high value, successful men, guys who have their shit together, guys who are making great money. So why aren't you translating that level of professionalism to your dating life? Why are you still treating this like an amateur and expecting professional results from it? Now, again, we touched on Instagram here. I'm going to walk you through now why Instagram is the best dating app ever created, because once you start implementing that system that I just walked you through and you get really, really good, you're going to start getting lots and lots of leads, and Instagram's the best tool for lead management. First and foremost, it's going to build comfort and familiarity with leads from dating apps and the cold approaches when you approach women that you meet out on the street. You just saw in the last example how that built comfort and familiarity for me. You saw it helped solve the catfish, I don't know you objection. I went from, she said, what are your socials? And we got the date, because that was probably the nail in the coffin that locked in the date. If I didn't have an Instagram, it probably would not have worked out well. And if my Instagram was terrible, it would have turned her off and made her not want to meet me. The other benefit of this is we want to do things intentionally, but we want to work smarter, not harder. There's no benefit to suffering. There's no benefit to wasting a lot of time if we can get the same result with less effort. Think about this with Instagram. You can post a story and have 10 girls reply to it, but all it took was one good story. You no longer have to individually text 10 different girls in order to get them starting conversations with you. If your Instagram is dialed in, you can just post a certain types of stories that we hand our clients all the time, and have women messaging you first. once you do this, you see you have women coming and chasing you rather than you having to chase them, and it's just a lot more efficient. Again, you don't need to start 10 unique conversations with 10 unique women. You just post one thing and have all of your leads messaging you, keeping them engaged over time, etc. So this is a shortened version of a Tinder conversation where I got a girl's Instagram because we were supposed to go on a date. So I asked her what her plans were for the weekend. Said, what's your number? I'll text you. We can have fun. So you'll see I got the objection. She's like, you want to give me your number? What if I'm a weirdo? So I exchange Instagram. I say, if you're worried, I can DM you on Instagram so you know I'm real. She gives me her Instagram. I say, I just DM'd you. So you'll see I DM her. I know it's hard to believe, but I am indeed real. We've been catfished before, so we're just talking about it. I'm asking her what her plans are. And this conversation actually happened in April. I honestly forgot about this interaction with this girl because I couldn't meet up with her until a week later. And by then I had just forgotten because I had so many leads coming in. However, I saw her post an Instagram story 3 months later in June of her with a cute dog. So I replied, hey, are you cheating on me? She said, you took too long to shoot your shot. I said, you're right. We never went on that date. And I said, what are you doing tomorrow night? We go through the whole process. And you'll notice here on this screenshot, I'll fast forward a little bit. We are already setting up the date, and you'll see we end up going on that date. 3 months later, all of the momentum was built for me. I didn't need to do anything because my Instagram profile, my stories were doing all of the work for me. So it also reminded her, the fact that she posted a story reminded me, hey, oh shoot, this was a girl I was supposed to go on a date with. Let me see if I can do it. And 3 months later, we were able to set up the date right away. This is the big brain thinking I keep talking about. Having systems set up in place that do the work for you so you as a high value man can focus on making more money, crushing it in your professional and your personal life. And dating is supposed to be the added icing on the cake, the added bonus once you do the work up front. So I'll spare you the whole conversation, but it's very obvious. We end up going on the date, we set up, and boom, there we go. Now we've covered dating apps, we've covered Instagram. Now it's time to figure out cold approach interactions, because this is huge. So the formula is very, very simple. You open, you ask a question, you ask a follow-up. Based on that question, you can either ask another follow-up, then you relate it back to you and you share something about yourself and your life. Then you ask a follow-up based on how she responds, or you just share something else, and then you ask another follow-up or you relate it back to you. Then by the end, we want to make sure we get her Instagram, because once we get her Instagram, well, we just covered why we want to get the girl on Instagram rather than a phone number. So this is very, very simple. I know it seems stupidly simple. It is that simple. You just have to go out and actually practice it, and you need to know exactly how to implement it and how to hold yourself accountable to get over the approach anxiety and the nerves. Because this seems simple, but when the nerves are pumping, what exactly to say, what exactly to do, how to hold yourself accountable, that's a topic for another time. I want to keep this brief and I want to keep this moving. Now that you're able to approach women and you're cold approaching women that you see on the street, at the coffee shop, at the gym, people you meet in day-to-day life, I'm going to show you exactly how to follow up after an in-person interaction. So the basics are simple. The goal is to just get the girl on a date. Our goal is always dates. We want to actually see if we're compatible with these women. We want to see if these women are women that we want to spend our time with. We want to turn into our girlfriends or our wives, right? So we want to just capitalize on the momentum from the interaction. This is an interaction. I met this woman at a wedding. She was actually one of the servers at a wedding. She was one of the waitresses. So I approached her. We had about a 5 or 10 minute conversation. Turns out she actually lived in my area, very nearby. So we kind of bonded and talked about that. So by the end, I got her Instagram and we had kind of made soft plans to meet up. So I messaged her the next day. I say, hey, it was good meeting you last night. I hope they didn't keep you at work too late, because kind of what we were talking about. She was working the wedding and she had to stay late. So she says, it was nice to meet you too. She was also foreign, so that's why her texts may be a little difficult to understand. She says, it was nice meeting you too. It was late, but it's okay. I say, did you have to work today as well? She said, no, I had a free day and it was wonderful after yesterday night. I say, we should go out sometime this week when you're not working. She says, we could. I'll have a free evening tomorrow. This message, she's just referencing something else. I kind of shortened the conversation for brevity and to keep you guys moving through this, and so you guys just get the bare bones essentials. I say, we should go out sometime this week when you're not working. She says, we could. I'll have a free evening tomorrow, and boom, date locked in very, very fast from cold approach interaction. And again, the way I opened her was following this exact formula, rinse and repeated over 5 or 10 minutes, got the Instagram and followed up very, very easily. And within a few messages, we set up a date very, very fast. So again, you'll notice all of this is set up, and it's no coincidence that she was very open to go on the date. Not only did she meet me and she saw I was a normal, cool, high value guy, but also she sees my Instagram and she's just overwhelmed with all the value of my profile because my profile is doing the work for me because we have it set up in a certain way to build that effect and build that first impression for us. So again, big brain thinking. Cold approach, move to Instagram. Dating app, text in a certain way to move to Instagram. Once they're on Instagram, text in a certain way to get them out on a date. Once we're on a first date, I'm about to walk you through exactly how that is in just a second, but here's another example. So this is another girl I approached in a nightclub. Turns out we went to the same school, so we knew some mutual friends. And I messaged her saying, cool seeing you last night. You come into the city often. Like I said, we had known some mutual friends from back in our college days a long time ago. So I say, cool seeing you last night. You come into the city often. I got her Instagram. She says, you too. And yes, I say, you have to come out with us sometime. My friends DJ at a lot of spots. It's always a good time. Where in Jersey do you live? She says, I'd love to. I'm by the beach. I say, fancy. I go surfing there all the time. And I say, I'll let you know next time. And she says, yes, let me know. So boom, I've already soft closed and set it up. A date proposition very, very quickly in the interaction. Very, very smooth, very fast. And again, my Instagram did a lot of the work. And how did I approach her? I just approached her using this exact same formula. So it's very simple. Now that you have this formula between Instagram, cold approach, and dating apps, you're printing lots of leads. And now we're setting up first dates. I'm going to walk you through the very, very brief synopsis of how to master first dates and the system my clients use. I'm going to drink a sip of water here. This is a very brief synopsis of how me and my clients master first dates. First dates are something that are not only one, make or break, but very, very difficult to fix and diagnose on your own. It's a very, very deep and nuanced topic. So I'm going to give you the spark notes of it. I can only give you so much if I don't know who you are and what are your specific pain points and what specifically you're struggling with. It's usually a lot of the same things that we notice, but it's a very simple process that we're going through. So I'm just going to give you one specific mindset that's going to make it so that after your first dates, you get messages like this. For example, after a first date, you message a girl, glad to meet you tonight. Let's do it again when you're back. And women are immediately responding same day and sometimes even responding. These are both examples from my own dating life, but also from my clients. So again, most guys get ghosted after first dates. They can't keep a girl, but me and my clients were able to say, nice to meet you. We're able to follow up with them on the same day of the date, which guys say you should never do because most people don't know what they're talking about. And we get extremely positive responses from the girls. We have girls texting us first. I'm home. Glad we got to meet tonight. They say, yeah, sounds good. And they're even texting us first here in these examples. They're texting us first to say, thanks for dinner. I had fun. Get home safe. And thanks for such a fun night. Let's definitely do it again soon. And it's because of the exact mastery over first dates that I'm about to share with you. So the way you want to think about your first dates is you want to think of them as an audition. And again, this is a very summarized version because there's only so much I can give you without knowing you and your specific situation. That being said, you should treat the first date as if she's auditioning to be part of your life. You're a high value guy. You're successful. Your life is in order. Your finances are in order. If she's going to come into your life, she's going to get access to your amazing life. She's going to become a part of it. So she is you should see it as her auditioning to be a part of that life. You are screening her and filtering to see if she's the right girl for you. She's going to assume this is also an audition for you. Like she is going to see you as auditioning to be her boyfriend or to be her potential partner. She's going to assume how you interact with her on the date is going to be how you interact in a relationship. So all of the little things, how you communicate, how you make eye contact with her, how you physically escalate, how you deal with awkwardness. If there's a little bit of tension that comes up, how do you deal with that? All of these things are how she's going to judge you and whether or not she wants to see you again. The number one thing to keep in mind is that the whole point is to have fun and to see if you're a good match for one another. That's really what a date is, because we're doing this for fun. The reason I'm able to share with you guys what works here, and I was able to show you this 3-part pipeline and show you exact concrete examples of it in action, is because this is what me and my team have been doing full time for years now for hundreds of different men. We're not guessing. This is why we're able to have that level of intentionality and big brain thinking, because it's not only me and my team's experience, but it's the experience of hundreds of high value men who are already successful and finding out what works for them. We have access to data that no one else does because we have access to a pool of men who are crushing it that's bigger than anyone else does. We will build your dating app profiles for you from scratch. Exactly the photos, the bios, the templates, the prompts. We'll even test everything for you so that you're getting multiple matches and getting enough matches to get you on 1 to 3 dates per week. We'll build the entire profile, exactly what photos to delete, what photos to keep, get you new photos, give you the exact bios that will have women messaging you first, and have that big brain thinking throughout all of your dating apps, throughout all of your Instagram, throughout all of your in-person interactions, so that you're getting multiple dates per week with the highest caliber of women. Most clients who join the program get on their first date within the first 2 weeks. This is the exact process that Josh, an IT professional, used, one of my clients, to get 40 matches on his dating apps within the first few weeks of joining and land himself on 3 dates very, very fast after implementing this and having this done for him. So you can see he said his understanding of women has improved and his sense of self-worth has grown as well. Or Caleb, who said he had tons of success since joining the program. He had at least 2 to 3 dates per week with tons of beautiful girls, and he was able to get himself into a relationship with a woman. His experience from going on so many dates helped him learn what he likes and doesn't like. Or Lance, an entrepreneur who ran multiple businesses, who was struggling to get matches on dating apps, just struggling with his interactions with women. He says his profiles are bringing in almost too many leads for him at this point. So if you're a man who's already successful, who's already operating at a high level professionally and personally, and you understand the value of your time, apply to work with me and my team below.